Hey everyone, welcome to the RotoGrinders Morning Grind Podcast. I'm your host, Stevietpfl. Also, just realized my mic was off, so I probably sound weird, but hey, let's get that fixed. Hope everyone's having a fantastic Thursday morning or Wednesday night, depending on where you're listening to the podcast. I should sound a lot better now. That was a good. Hey, it happens to the best of us. So we have a nice little 7-game MLB slate here for Thursday night, joined today by my good buddy Will Priester, ChiefJustice06. Chief, hey, your mic is working. We checked before. Didn't check mine. What's happening?
I'm doing good, man. Good to come on with you I guess what I'm going to call an alternate day. I know we kind of do like Sunday, Friday. That's kind of our song and dance. But coming on a day early, so always happy to come on, man, and talk with you. I hope people understand, like, we're actually really good friends in the industry, and so hopefully that shows through the show. And always a pleasure. Always.
Yeah, man, always fun to do shows. Very high on Baltimore on Wednesday night, so I'm ready for that slate. I'm ready to move on to Thursday's slate. They stunk it up. Jose Berrios had like a no-hitter through like 6 innings or something weird. It was
Yes, he did.
He was dominating Baltimore, and he wasn't even like dominating them, like throwing the ball by them. They were just hitting the ball to people. It was just one of those games.
So I'm glad you mentioned that, because I think I looked and through 4 innings, he had no strikeouts at one point. Through 4 innings, 0 strikeouts. Now, Kyle Bradish on the other side didn't have any either. He went 6 innings, like 1 strikeout. Interesting game. Probably the most interesting pitchers duel you will see.
There's some interesting pitching here on this slate, 7-game slate, like I mentioned. Again, very interesting pitching, so we'll talk about that as we get going here. What's up, YouTube? Hope you're having a fantastic Wednesday night. Jeremy says he's watching it live. Nice to be here. Well, Jeremy, it's nice for you to be here. Todd and Richie, always cool to see you guys hanging out here in chat. We're going to jump in and get started here. Don't mind my eye. I think I have like a blood vessel or something broken in my eye. Maybe why I have a bad headache, but hey, happens to the best of us. Detroit at Minnesota. 8 total in this game. Twins, a 215 favorite. Gray going up against Matt Boyd. Any interest here for you in Matthew Boyd?
Interesting spot here, Stevie. I feel like I have to have some interest with how bad Minnesota has been in terms of strikeouts. At 5,800, I don't hate it. Like, look, he's either going to have a good game or he's going to get shelled. I don't think there's any in between on this one. But at 5,800, I think that's reasonable for him in this spot.
Yeah, Minnesota, 27.1% strikeout rate against left-handed pitching this season. Second highest number behind Milwaukee. We talked about them striking out a lot this year, but I mean, honestly, their WRC plus is really low at 90, which is below average. They've only hit 16 home runs against left-handed pitching this season. So I don't love Matthew Boyd in general.
Yes, I'm with you.
Yeah, not typically a guy like I want to go out of my way and play, but good matchup against Minnesota here. And I don't hate it at the price point. We have a lot of top-end pitchers today, so we'll obviously talk about them as we get going. Sonny Gray is one of those top-end arms that I think you have to have some interest in here. I mean, everybody's been good against Detroit except for Spencer Strider. So
don't get me started.
Will's a Braves fan, and the salt in the wound is there. I mean, Miguel Cabrera, his first home run of the season, that was cool to see. But yeah, I mean, I think this is a great spot for Sonny Gray. I'm not gonna let the Spencer Strider issues talk me off or want me to fade here on Sonny Gray. His biggest issue has been hard contact. This is a low-powered team, so ton of interest for me in Sonny Gray at 9,300 going up against Detroit.
Yeah, man, I'm with you 100%. Like, I haven't been on Gray probably in a while. I mean, if you look at kind of the spots he's been in over the past few games, definitely a guy that I haven't been playing as much, but against Detroit, I'm with you. This is a spot we can get in on him for sure.
Bats, anything here for Detroit that you like?
No, I don't think I'm playing Detroit today at all. I don't see myself playing anyone from Detroit.
Yeah, I don't have any interest in the Detroit Bats. Kerry Carpenter is like the biggest, biggest like bat in this lineup right now. And I think that honestly says a lot. So I don't really have a ton of interest here. And the Minnesota Bats. Buxton, I read a report earlier today that he's likely going to be out for at least a few more days. So taking him out of this lineup just really kind of hurts the lineup overall. Correa, I think, would be playable here at 4K going up against Matthew Boyd. If for some reason they hit like Michael Taylor leadoff, I would have interest in him because, I mean, his numbers are really not that bad against left-handed pitching. But Correa would be my favorite and probably my only play here from Minnesota.
Yeah, I don't hate that at 4K for sure. And I'm probably about with you because, like everybody else, man, it's ugly. They are cheap, but I can't do it.
Yeah, I mean, none of the cheap bats. I mean, a lot of them are left-handed hitters, and if they play them, I have more interest in Boyd. I mean,
Yeah.
I mentioned Michael Taylor because he's 2,200. If he did hit up towards the top of the lineup here, I would have interest in him. All right, let's talk about your Braves. We got the Rockies and the Braves. No total in this game. If Freeland is pitching for Colorado, and then it sounds like it's going to be Smith Schroeder against or pitching here for Atlanta. What are your thoughts here on Freeland?
Not playing Freeland today. This is not a great spot for Kyle Freeland at all.
Yeah, I mean, tough matchup against Atlanta. One of the best teams in baseball against left-handed pitching. I think Tampa is the only team statistically better than them, but Atlanta has the highest hard hit rate against left-handed pitching this season. I think they have the second most home runs behind the Dodgers against left-handed pitching. So, yeah, not a spot I want to play. Freeland, he's just not a great pitcher in general. What about Smith Schroeder here?
Listen,
Shawver.
Yeah. I like him better than I like Boyd today. Like the Colorado offense has really been striking out a ton because they're missing a lot of their main pieces. And so Smith Shawver, look, he had a tough matchup against Washington in terms of strikeouts. So yep. Washington doesn't strike out a ton, but what I was encouraged by, Steve, was the 86 pitches. So if we're going to see 85 to 90 pitches from him against Colorado, I'm in. Like he should be able to pick up. I mean, he got 2 against Washington, had 3 against Arizona, and a 40-pitch start. I mean, he should be able to pick up 5 strikeouts here. So I really like him in this spot. I'd be interested to see where he comes in at in terms of a prop perspective. I'm assuming it's 4.5, maybe 3.5. If it's 3.5, I'm going to be rejoicing because that's going to be incredible. But yeah, I like him a ton today.
Yeah, I mean, I talked about him last time out. He's got a big fastball, good slider. He's the number 1 prospect in the Braves organization. Big time prospect. Everyone kind of thought next year for him, so I think we're all kind of a little shocked. But I mean, Atlanta's pitching is just they've been so banged up. I mean, this guy started this season in Single A, High A baseball. So he's progressed really fast. He has a lot to learn. I don't think the long term is for him to stay up with the big league club. But with all that said, fantastic matchup against the Rockies, like you mentioned. Big strikeout upside here for him. So I have no issues taking some shots on him in this spot. Rockies bats, any interest here in Colorado?
No, actually. I'm gonna fade the Rockies bats even on a small slate. And hope AJ does his thing and doesn't get shelled. I mean, he only gave up 3 hits to Washington. Did give up 2 runs, but they're a much lower strikeout team than what he's going to see tomorrow.
Yeah, I think Nolan Jones, I know I sound like a broken record. He's a guy that I don't mind playing here. He's still in that price range where I think you could play him under 4K. Big power, upside type of guy. Ryan McMahon, if you want to pay up. and play him. I have no issues with that. Like if you end up there, sure, why not?
Yeah.
Atlanta bats. I mean, Atlanta, I think, is the top stack on the slate today. I mean, I feel like you have to like this team. Freeland is a guy that can't strike hitters out. This is a great spot overall for this offense. Low strikeout guy that gives up a ton of power to right-handed hitters. They're going to throw a lot of righties, if not the whole right-handed lineup at him. Maybe Rosario and Olsen as far as lefties. But, I mean, Atlanta, I think, is in a fantastic spot here.
Yeah, I mean, you think they're going to sit Harris and play Pilar today?
They have been playing Pilar a little bit against lefties.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to figure out. Because, man, Harris has been pretty hot here recently.
I wouldn't be shocked if they give Rosario a day off and play Pilar and just let Michael Harris keep doing his thing.
Yeah, that's what I would do in this situation if I'm the manager. Like, young hitter, don't let him, come out of his groove. Rosario's been around. I could definitely see that. But yeah, I mean, Ozuna's going to be a top. Acuna, is going to be a top player along with Ozuna. If Pilar plays at 2,200, he's going to be good value. We'll be probably closer to that 6-7 spot, but I'll be okay with that. You got Austin Riley at 5,300 is expensive. You got Albies at 4,800. You got Olsen at 6,200 and Murphy at 4,900. If you want to get this team, they're expensive. But once again, by being able to play Smith-Shawver, that's going to help you be able to play some pieces from this team. If you like Boyd, that's going to help you be able to play some pieces from this team. So I'm not actually, Stevie, as worried about salary today because I do believe we have two pitchers under 6K that are reasonable that we can actually use.
All right, moving on. We got Angels at Rangers. 8 total in this game. Rangers a slight favorite here at 130. We have Ohtani and Eovaldi facing off against each other. Ohtani, one of the best strikeout pitchers in baseball. Really tough matchup here going up against Texas. He's really struggled in his last 2 outings. What are your thoughts here on Ohtani going up against Texas?
I don't want to play him against Texas, Stevie. I know that Detmers kind of went out there and just kind of really worked this team today on the current slate, but I'm not interested in playing him against Texas. Texas has been really good, and that doesn't mean I don't think Ohtani's going to have a nice game. I do think they limit some of his upside, and so that's kind of where I'm landing on Ohtani. So I'm not telling anyone, like, if you say, hey, I want to play Ohtani, I'm not saying it's a bad play. I'm just saying I think his upside is limited some because their team has been hitting pretty well. And their K rates aren't astronomical with Corey Seager in the lineup as well.
Yeah, I mean, these are two of the better arms that we have on the slate. It's a really tough matchup against Texas. They've been one of the best offenses in baseball this season, despite what Derek Carty says. I don't understand why he's down on Texas. I need to do a show with him that Texas is on so I can make fun of him or mess with him. Make fun of him is not the right – mess with him, I think is a better way to say it. So I guess I'm Team Texas this year. I think they're a really good offense. Ohtani, I think, could beat anybody. He's expensive. I think he might be worth the price tag on the slate. We have good pitching today. So I think that, even Eovaldi on the other side of this game, if you're comparing the two, if you had to pick one of the two, do you like Eovaldi over Ohtani or do you like Ohtani over Eovaldi?
Once again, I'll have to explain it like this. Ohtani has more strikeout upside. I think Eovaldi has more of a leash if he's pitching really well. So Eovaldi to me is probably the best combination play. I think Eovaldi also has an easier matchup. I think I go Eovaldi over Ohtani, understanding Ohtani could absolutely strike out more guys.
I think both these guys are playable. I have no issues playing either one of these guys. If I had to pick one or the other, oh man, I don't know. I think I'd pick Ohtani.
He's got more strikeout upside for sure.
Yeah,
Like
I think I'd
that's
pick Ohtani. I don't feel good about it.
yeah.
But sorry, I am making sure I remind Tim, who was on the podcast yesterday, that he owes me jelly beans because Whitlock absolutely smashed Drew Smyly. Don't make jelly bean bets. That's a rookie mistake. All right, let's talk. Anybody that listened to the podcast yesterday or was here yesterday knows that Tim really fought me on Drew Smyly and Whitlock, but hey, can't win them all. Can't win them all. I know I lost the jelly bean bet recently to Will, so I can't win them all, but I'm like 98%.
And guess what?
Angels,
That jelly bean bet was Matt Boyd.
I know. I would agree with you today, so can't.
Yeah, of course.
No jelly beans today. All right, talk to me about the Angels bats. Anything standing out to you here? It stinks that we can't play Ohtani, obviously. What are your thoughts overall on the Angels?
So I don't really think I want to play the Angels. I do really think that Eovaldi does limit upside. And I know, his last start, I think, against the Rays, they kind of got to him a little bit, Stevie. But here's the thing. So even though they got to him, and I know we're talking about bats, but still went 6 1/3, only gave up 4 runs on 7 hits. And I mean, Babbitt was just on their side, and he still picked up 6 strikeouts, 102 pitches. And typically he's not going to get shelled, and he's going to limit damage. I don't think I want to play anyone from the Angels.
Yeah, Eovaldi, his control has just been elite this season. I think he's at like a 4.6 walk rate. His WOBA was at like 250. He's generating a lot of ground balls. I mean, hard hit rate wise, he's a guy that gives up a lot of hard contact. Throughout his career, he's been, reverse splits. So I think if you wanted to pay up to get a low-owned Trout, I wouldn't necessarily talk you off of it. Outside of that, I don't really have any interest in the Angels. And I probably don't get a lot of Trout one-offs because of the slate, just in general. Angels bats here, Ohtani. He's kind of the same way, right? Like, he's a guy that gives up a ton of hard contact. His struggle with power is lefties. Corey Seager, I think, would be the guy I would target. But overall, I'm not going out of my way to play bats against these two pitchers. I think this is going to be one of, if not the lowest scoring game on the slate.
Yeah, absolutely. I would agree with you there. Once again, I just think Texas can limit Ohtani's upside. I still agree with you. Like, these are the two best pitchers on the slate. They're priced appropriately. It's not going to shock me if he picks up 7 or 8 Ks and gives up a run or two. Like, that's pretty much what we expect. So I'm not really playing Texas today.
All right. Pittsburgh at Chicago. Taking on the Cubbies. Again, no total in this game. Night before, we don't typically get Cubs lines. So that's nothing out of the ordinary here. First glance, wind blowing in at 18 miles an hour. So we'll have to see what Kevin Roth has to say.
Oh, God. No. Don't do this.
Rich Hill and Marcus Stroman facing off against each other here.
Don't do this.
Let's talk the ace man, Rich Hill.
Oh, God. Why can't we just have Keller today? Like that, just give us Keller today. Oh, gosh. Don't do this.
Give me your thoughts here, Will. 6,300 Rich Hill. Wind blowing in massively here. Does this bump him up to like Matt Boyd range now?
It's so bad, but like, don't you have to consider Rich Hill today? I mean, it's so bad. But like, Stevie, if someone is just a game log watcher, like they don't know anything about baseball, and all they know is they're just trying to put together a lineup, get the most points possible for the least amount of salary spent. Everybody's playing Rich Hill. Like, everybody. I mean, he's got more 20-point games in his last 5 than other games. And all of these aren't against bad opponents. Like, one is against the Mets, one's against St. Louis, one's against Detroit, who's obviously a bad team. He put up 14 against Texas, and at San Francisco, he just got shelled. Like, I don't This is so crazy to me, but I think you play Rich Hill today. I don't like him better than the other guys, but in the conditions of who he's facing, I think you have to play him.
I mean, I feel like they're just. I feel like they're just letting him go deep into games. Like the downside is he's Rich Hill. The upside is he's a fly ball guy, and the wind's going to be blowing in. If this is the weather report, and obviously we'll have to see what Kevin Roth has to say tomorrow morning, Thursday morning. I think Rich Hill is playable here. I think I'm with you. I mean, it bumps up my Marcus Stroman thoughts too. I already had interest in Stroman, just in general, but I think now I have more interest in Stroman, in general. So, I mean, I think both these pitchers are very much in play now. I think Marcus Stroman is a guy. I mean, the win really doesn't affect him because he's a big time ground ball guy. But Pittsburgh definitely a little bit better against left-handed pitching than they are against right-handed pitching. I don't know, man. I think Stroman's in play as well.
Yeah, I like Stroman at 8,700. Once again, we don't roster Stroman for 10 strikeouts. We roster him really for 4 to 5 strikeouts and the ability to get through innings fairly clean. And so that's pretty much what you're going to see from Stroman because he keeps that ball on the ground, still sitting 50% or more, Steve, on a ground ball rate on the season. So I like Stroman, 8,700. Definitely a guy I can get behind. Definitely a spot where, like, if we're talking about loading up offenses, I don't mind playing Stroman at 87 and Hill on the other side, or Smith-Shawver or Boyd, and now we can really get those bats that we're talking about. I think Stroman is a really good piece to unlock some offense today.
Bats, anything here for Pittsburgh that you like?
No. I mean, not with the conditions, especially if the wind's blowing in. Like you said, it won't affect him as much. But if anything gets hit in the air, 18 miles per hour blowing, and it's definitely going to stifle it. So I don't really want to play anyone from Pittsburgh.
I think Marcano is someone you could still play. He should hit leadoff in this game. He offers stolen base upside. You're not really targeting him for home runs anyway. So I think he's someone you could take some shots on. And then as far as the Cubbies are concerned, I mean, Morel and Wisdom would be my two favorites. I don't know how much I'm going to play the Cubs today. Maybe a mini stack with like Suzuki, but the wind's going to be blowing in this much. I don't know how much I really trust the spot.
Yeah, I'm with you 100%. I'm not playing the Cubs though. No Cubs. I'm with you. I'm more on Hill than the Cubs.
All right.
You can almost look at this slate and know exactly what we're going to do today, really.
Washington at Houston. Yes. We got Gore and Javier facing off against each other, 8 total. Astros a big favorite here, minus 250. Any interest in Mackenzie Gore today?
On paper, no. He's not going to be a hard no because he does have some strikeout stuff. And if he comes out and gets 20 fantasy points today, I'm not going to be surprised. But Houston has hit left-handed pitching a lot better than right-handed pitching over the course of this season. So Gore, I'm just going to take a full fade.
Yeah, I'm not playing him in this matchup, but I mean, there's been plenty of times this season that I think you can play him, and I think we'll play him again eventually. Javier on the other side of this game, I don't think I like him, Will. It's not a hard no by any means, but I also think that this is a spot we can take a stand. He's a huge favorite. Vegas likes him. That means projection models are going to like him. His strikeouts are down. This team doesn't strike out a lot. I think this is like a BABIP game. I could see him throwing like 6 or 7 clean innings, giving up a run or two, and putting up like 20 to 25 fantasy points. And I think there's more ceiling elsewhere.
Yeah, I'm with you 100%. That's how I feel about it. Exactly how I feel about it.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe I should like him more. I don't like the Washington Bats. Do you have any interest in Washington Bats here?
No. So the thing is, Stevie, I feel Washington is going to limit Javier's upside, in my opinion, but they also aren't going to score any runs. Ball's just going to be popped up and ground outs. So no interest in Washington Bats.
Houston Bats against Gore. What do you like here?
I am going to stack Houston because Gore does have a walk problem, right? Like if he walks the wrong guys, and I know Alvarez is out, and that is hurting. That is going to hurt their offense some. But, we still got Bregman here. We've still got Altuve here. We've still got Tucker here. We've got Dubon leading off at 3,800. So I still think Houston has some upside. So I am going to be stacking Houston today in hopes that we get the Gore that we saw in Atlanta that just kind of falters and flutters, still get some strikeouts, but we're able to still pile up some runs against him. I like the Houston offense today.
I like them too. I think it's a great spot for them upside wise. Gore has struggled lefty too, so don't be afraid to take shots on Tucker. Yeah. I mean, they're a stack that's playable here. We haven't had many stacks that we like. This is why the Braves are in such a good spot today, in my opinion. Cleveland Guardians, San Diego Padres, 7.5 total. We got Darvish and Allen facing off against each other. Padres a 164 favorite here. Let's talk Allen first. Logan Allen, he's had some games this year. Don't hate the matchup. San Diego is a team that, I mean, you could definitely take some strikeout pitchers against them. Do you have any interest here, though, in Allen?
No, not today. I think even on today's slate, it just pains me to say this, Stevie. I think I'd play Rich Hill over Allen today. And that just pains me to say, but I definitely play Smith-Shawver and definitely Boyd. So I'm going to fade Allen. I am going to be one-off in San Diego, though. This is a good spot for some one-offs, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't hate Logan Allen at this price point. He is someone that's capable of 25 plus points. His biggest issue is hard contact to righties. I mean, the three or four righties that he's going to have to face in this lineup is really concerning with Tatis, Machado, Xander Bogaerts. Gary Sanchez, in a small sample size, has a lot of upside against left-handed pitching this season. So I don't think I play Logan Allen just because we have other options. I do see a thing is it going to be Darvish or is it going to be Weathers?
See, hold on. Let me pull up. How many sources do you have up? I can pull up one real quick.
It's gonna be Weathers. Darvish's start got moved to Friday to face the Rays. Weathers is pitching against Cleveland today. Oh baby.
Okay.
This line's gonna move. This line's gonna move. If you still see this line, if you're in a legal spot, and I mean this is one of the best things about YouTube, right? If you are in a legal state where you could bet, I love the over 7.5 in this game now. For what it's worth. We're not playing Ryan Weathers, right?
Oh, absolutely not. Heavens no.
Dude, Guardians. I had zero interest in the Guardians when I was doing my research for this slate, thinking that it was going to be Darvish.
I thought it was Weathers. I thought it was Weathers, and so you were like, "Is it going to be Darvish?" I'm like, "Oh, well, wait, let me check." So yeah, you go ahead.
I mean, let's play some Jose Ramirez starting off right here. I mean, there's still not a ton of power in this lineup, but Ryan Weathers is bad. 13% Ks against righties.
Too.
Yeah. I mean, 410 WOBA against right-handed hitters this season, 217 ISO against right-handed hitters this season. Just generates no swinging strikes. I mean, this is a great spot for Cleveland, even though they're a team that I feel like we've been picking on a lot this season. I think that this is a great spot to look at Cleveland, one of the worst offenses in baseball this season against left-handed pitching.
Absolutely. And I think, Stevie, just to kind of talk through this from a slight game theory perspective, if we're playing Cleveland at this point, I'm looking to get the two better pitchers because outside of Jose Ramirez, pretty much everybody else is 3K or 2K. Like Quan is 36, Gonzalez is 24, Rosario is 32. You've got Jimenez at 34, and Zanino's 26. It's like all these guys are cheap. So I really, if I'm going to play Cleveland today, and I am going to play some Cleveland, I'll for sure have at least one of the high upper tier pitchers in my Cleveland bills for sure.
Yeah, I mean they're so cheap that gosh, is the chalk build going to be Atlanta Cleveland? Has Cleveland been so bad that people don't want to play them still, even in a great spot against Weathers?
I don't think Cleveland's going to be chalk, even on this one, because they've been bad. I think that, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think they'll be popular. I think Atlanta's probably going to be like extreme chalk. I think Houston will get some ownership. I think San Diego will get some ownership because of the name value. And then I think the Dodgers get more ownership because it's a smaller slate, even against Dylan Cease. But overall, I think Atlanta's going to be like stupid chalky, and they should be.
If you have the Gahoonies to fade one of the best teams, Atlanta is going to be massive chalk on the slate. Plenty of cheap pitching. Yeah. Let's talk about the Padres on the other side of this game. I think they're the team you potentially pivot off of Atlanta. I do like the Dodgers against Dylan Cease in the next game for what it's worth, but I do think like the Padres and Dodgers are the two teams you're looking to pivot off of the chalky Braves.
Yeah, for sure. And what I was going to say was, in terms of the Padres, I do like this team probably the most for one-off. So I don't mind the Bogarts one-off. I don't mind, the Tatis one-off, the Machado one-off. This is basically where I want to get most of these one-off. The Gary Sanchez one-off, and Sanchez is only $3,500, so still not incredibly expensive. This is where I want to get a lot of my one-offs from the San Diego Padres for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Gary Sanchez, if you believe in what he's been able to do here, I mean, he's found life in San Diego, and I think that at 3,500, he's a really solid play here at catcher.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk White Sox and Dodgers. This game has a 8.5 total. The Dodgers are 166 favorite. Grove against Dylan Cease. Dylan Cease has been struggling. He pitched good against Miami and Detroit the last two times out, but this is a guy that is not anything close or near than what he was last year. Any interest in Dylan Cease today against the Dodgers?
No.
Yeah, I was hoping we'd get a big, fast no. I'm with you on this one. I have no interest in Dylan Cease. If you're playing 150 teams and you want to play him and trust the talent, my issue is like his advanced stats really just say that he has not been pitching as good this season. So that's my biggest concern with Dylan Cease. Dodgers a really good lineup. Grove on the other side of this one. Any interest here in Michael Grove?
I don't. He's 5,200, Stevie. We don't need him today, so I'm not playing him.
Yeah, I mean he's another guy that's been really struggling, giving up a ton of power to lefties. His WOBA's almost 500 against lefties. They have been doing this thing like they open with a Victor Gonzalez type guy, and then they bring in Grove to throw 3 or 4 innings. So he might not even start this game. But either way, no issues for me. No interest for me. Slight interest in the White Sox bats. I know they've been a team that have let us down a ton this season, but I think that they're in a good spot. They're cheap, and I think that you could take some shots here. It's always really interesting to see how you build out like a White Sox lineup. But I mean, Gavin Sheets at 2K is someone that I really like.
Listen, Sheets always has that power, Stevie. Like that's a great call. Another guy that's had some power a little bit this year, Andrew Vaughn. He's had a little bit, but yeah, I love the Sheets call, Stevie. Like that's probably that might be like the ultimate one-off play on this slate because I don't think anybody's going to be rushing to play Gavin Sheets even on a short slate like that. I love that call. I don't hate Moncada like he's 3,200. I mean, if you want to stack the White Sox today, I don't hate it just because it will be different even on this slate because they've been so bad just overall. I don't think people are going to be rushing to play this team. So, God, man, it feels like they should be so much better with Jimenez and Robert and Moncada, but it's just not coming together. But Berger's there. I think you stack the White Sox today for what it's worth and just see what you get. They could absolutely break out against Grove.
Yeah, I mean, I have interest in the White Sox. My interest in the White Sox always very interesting, like plays. I like Jake Berger, Gavin Sheets. Berger this season has been someone that has been excellent against lefties and has, if you could take away his strikeout rate against righties, he's had a stellar year and he just kind of flies under the radar. So, all right, let's talk Dodgers here. Dylan Cease really, like I said, has been struggling a lot this year. I mean, he really just hasn't had that put away pitch. His swinging strike rate is at 12%. But if you look at his swinging strike rate against lefties, he's just struggling, man. He's struggling with hard contact. Talk to me here about the Dodgers.
Yeah, I think the Dodgers, to me, are probably the second or third best team on this slate. Just like in general. I know they're missing some of those pieces from last year, but I mean, Freeman's expensive. Freddie's expensive. But I still think you try to get them in. And Stevie, honestly, I think this is a spot today where I'm going to take some small shots, take a small pool of my lineups. I'm going to try to stack the Dodgers and the Braves with the 5K pitchers and see if I can make that work. That might be different enough if both of these offenses tee off to get there. Freddie Freeman definitely going to be a favorite play of mine. And then this is a guy that probably won't be on anybody's list, but I like Jason Hayward, Steve. Like, not striking out. Definitely going to put the ball in play, I think. So Hayward is actually going to be another one of my favorite bats from the Dodgers today. So I just wanted to kind of give out those two. I don't think we'll hear too much about Jason Hayward today from any other podcast, probably but this one. But I do really like Hayward on the cheap end.
I like the Dodgers, just in general here. So I think that Max Muncy, not going to be playing in this game. It sounds like he might go to the IL with the hamstring strain. So, yeah, I mean, Hayward is a great call. Peralta, Outman, Freddie, Will Smith, Betts, JD Martinez, any of these guys. Cease is giving up so much hard contact to both sides of the plate. It's just crazy, right? Like, you look at Dylan Cease last year at 37% hard hit rate. This year is a 55% hard hit rate. His strikeout rate
is way down.
Yeah, it's down almost 6%. Walk rate is right where it was. It's just giving up a lot more power. He's just not missing bats. His swinging strike rate is way down. So barrel rate's way up. Just everything kind of just jumping off the page here for Dylan Cease. Like, his fastball is getting hit a lot harder. His slider's getting hit a lot harder. And, I mean, it's not good. All right, let's play the morning grind game, and then we will get out of here. Under 8K to get 6 or more strikeouts. Who do you got?
We got a lot of options today. Give me, you know what? I'm going way off the board. People probably think I'm going with my boy Smith Shawver. I'm going to go with Matthew Boyd at 5,800.
I'll take Smith Shawver. Thank you. Over 8K.
Listen, I almost went Rich Hill today. I was close.
Oh, I know. I mean, I don't think it's a bad spot for him. They were talking about in chat how the Red Sox are getting dominated by Austin Gomber. And as a Red Sox fan, this is the most Red Sox thing ever. Over 8K to score under 15. Who's your bust today? Might have lost you. Oh, no. Will's internet was doing so good. Oh,
What
he's
was
back.
that question?
No. Oh. He's a robot. All right.
Yep.
I get to go first because Will's internet's bad right now. So I'm going to take Dylan Cease because he's facing the Dodgers. So thank you, Will's internet. I appreciate you. Are you back now?
I am back. Over 8K, we get 15 fantasy points or less. You know what? I'm going to just have to go off the board here. Give me Javier.
I don't hate that. That's who I was going to pick because I figured you were going to pick Dylan Cease, so that's who I was going to pick. But your internet got me a free W in that category. Yep. Over 4K to hit a home run today. Who's going yard?
Man, give me – this guy hadn't hit one probably – no, I'm going to stay true. Give me Xander Bogaerts, man. 4,700 against Allen.
I like it. Give me Sean Murphy. I'm going to pay up a catcher today. Sean Murphy is my guy. I was going to say Austin Riley. Yeah.
I almost went Bregman. Yeah, I was caught between two today.
Under 4K to get 2 hits. Who's a cheap bat that you like today?
Give me Dubon at 3,800.
Okay. Didn't see that one coming. That one threw me for a curveball a little bit. Man, I'm going to go Gavin Sheets.
I like it. Stevie, I like that call. I'm telling you. Gavin Sheets got me excited today.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited to play some Gavin Sheets. I always like playing Gavin Sheets. He's 2 for his last 25. And I'm still excited to play him because I know the upside's there, and I think this is a good matchup. So, yes, Jeremy, I'm paying up for catcher. I love this spot for Murphy today. I absolutely love this spot for him. He profiles as one of the best batted ball profile guys on the entire slate in my model today. So, yeah, I like Murphy a lot. Stack score 6 or more runs. Who do you got?
Stevie, I'm going to stay true to something we talked about. I like it. Bad team, but good spot. Give me the Cleveland Guardians.
How many times have you said Indians this year? I've said it at least 5 times, depending on like Grinders Live and the podcast.
I almost said it just now, but I did not.
Yeah, I mean, I have said it a lot. I'm going to go Dodgers against Dylan Cease. He's really been struggling this year, and I mean, I really hope, like Will, I'm excited to play this slate because I think the Dodgers are going to be low owned against Dylan Cease. If the Dodgers are
low, and I'm going to be shocked.
Right, but I mean, I think the Braves are the best stack on the slate. I don't think anyone's arguing with that. They're in a fantastic spot. They're the best stack on the slate. Really easy to fit them in. We have plenty of cheap pitching to make it work. I think that with the Braves being chalky, the Padres probably getting ownership too. I really think that like the Dodgers are the forgotten team, and Dylan Cease has struggled. I think that this is a really interesting spot for the Dodgers, so I really like it. Braves, top stack. They're my favorite stack. We have Braves are going to get 6. I agree with you in chat. I agree. I think the Braves are going to get 6. I love the Braves today. All right, that's it. Does this show start at the same time every day? Around 10-ish Eastern, Monday or Sunday night through Thursday night. Most of the time, we're live on YouTube. Sometimes I have to push it back, or co-host has to push it back, but we try to start at 10, which always means about 10:10 because I'm always late. You can ask Will. He's shaking his head. I already see him. Will, any final thoughts before we get out of here?
No, we are good. And, man, thanks for having me on, man. Always a pleasure.
Always fun. Always fun. Always a good time. If you want to check out Will Monday through Friday, he's taking your pick'em. You see what I did there? Yes. Over there on Grinders Live, 10:30 Eastern each day. If you enjoy fantasy pick'em plays, check him out. He's doing a great job over there. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the RotoGrinders Morning Grind YouTube page. Turn on the notifications. That way you'll know exactly when we go live. Thank you all for hanging out. We'll be back tomorrow talking some more baseball. Good luck, everyone. We'll see you all tomorrow.